Hey everybody, welcome to week 5. These are the things you need to know. Mnemonics are symbols, rhymes, associations, images, something that helps recall something from memory. So we use mnemonics to help us associate our brand with the end consumer. A good example would be like a logo. Building off of that, a logo would be considered selective retention. So if we create a logo that stands out, if you think of like say the Apple logo for Apple computers, when you see the Apple, you think Apple computers. That is important to the brand because we don't really have to say anything. All we have to have is that image, and that person is able to respond to that and recall what that product is without us having to do anything more. Looking at the web, there's all sorts of different types of advertisement that you can do. Historically, one of the most common ones is what's called the banner ad that sits on the top of a given website. And so as a person clicks on that banner ad, it drives them to that manufacturer's website or perhaps their social media, and drives traffic to the end designation decided by that manufacturer. It's important to keep in mind a consumer's attitude towards a brand, right? This is essentially what they think about the brand, how they feel about the brand, and how that person interacts with the brand. This is where brands build relationships and how they essentially start to create lifelong consumers and build that sort of brand equity within that consumer group. So in our industry, every fall we go through what's called unconditional stimulus. So around August, we start to receive gear guides in the mail. We see them online. We start to read about it on social media. And there's an unconditioned stimulus that's happening there that's starting to make us think about skiing and snowboarding again for that upcoming season, and also to create a demand for products in our industry. Contiguity occurs when an unconditional and a conditioned stimulus happen in a close proximity of time. Consumer experience with products create a reinforcement or a sort of a drive that affects future purchasing behavior. This week we talked a lot about the different generations and their behaviors, and one that stands out is Generation Ys, which prefer to be in mass merchandisers and supercenters. If you look back at different types of behaviors throughout the generations, the people born before 46 were known as the greatest generation, simply because once they have locked into a brand, they tend to stick with it. And from a manufacturer, that's a dream come true, because if I sell you my product and you buy it for your entire life, there's not much more I have to do on my behalf other than to continue to deliver the same type of product, but I don't have to go out and recruit you. One of the largest populations to impact the snow sports world were the baby boomers, which were born after World War II, so 46 to 64. They were very active in the snow sports world, purchased a lot of the real estate, drove a lot of the initial sales, and really built companies up, and will leave a big mark on the snow sports industry as they decline in participation. Other interesting facts about generations, Gen Z tends to stay more indoors than previous generations to it, which has an impact on the snow sports world. If you're staying indoors, that means you're probably doing things on social media rather than actually participating in this, like the snow sports industry or action sports industry. Generations are a group of people that participate in similar activities. Judgment, opinions, and actions essentially create a reference group, and that's important to us as promotional reps because we look at different reference groups to create advertising campaigns or to create promotional campaigns to address those different reference groups' needs. If I have a different opinion than you, I'm going to respond to an ad differently. So this all works together to create cohesive marketing and ensure that we're essentially reaching our end consumers but not offending anybody or maybe turning them off through our marketing techniques. You'll hear the term channels or promotional channels, and this essentially means the different ways that you can promote a brand. So an example would be like a billboard. If you drive I-70 in Colorado, Oakley has been doing a lot of promotional branding through billboards, and that would be a promotional channel. Consumers have grown weary of being bombarded by the conventional ads. So manufacturers and ad agencies have gotten more creative with working with athletes to disguise advertising and make it more of an entertainment factor. As a manufacturer, it's advantageous to me to have the cool new athlete riding my gear, and I can create an ad that looks more entertaining and is more valuable to the end consumer, but still promotes my brand. So essentially the brand is pushing out that athlete, but as a part of pushing out their new product. And I'm typically, as the manufacturer, responsible for that ad content. You'll hear the term marketing buzz. That's essentially what a promotional rep is trying to do in the marketplace, is to create a buzz around a product. They do that through different channels like articles or PR or viral type marketing. It can be done in conjunction with paid advertising as well. It just depends on the goals and the amount of budget that brand has. Oftentimes you'll see what's called interstitials, which is essentially a advertisement that is like a pop-up of sorts. While you're waiting for a brand website to load, you may get a little small ad that'll appear, or maybe there's some content that they want you to look at while a page loads or a webcam starts or something along those lines. Oftentimes marketing ads will make big claims as to what a product can or cannot do. So a good example of this is a no fog goggle. If you, the consumer, reads that and you say there's no way that goggle can't fog, that's considered a counter argument to that ad. This is important because as we create our advertising pieces, we want to be truthful in disclosing what our products can do, but also make some sort of statement about our product as well. So as we evaluate our ad content, it's always really important to look at the verbiage, look at the messaging, and make sure that it's on point, but to also avoid counter arguments so that we can create a clear image of what the product can do or cannot do. Brands will use search engine optimization, or SEO, to try to target their audience. As we think about going on to a Google or a Bing or something along those lines, when we have our content optimized, our website, our social media, those types of things are going to pop up first. So it's important for all of the website content on our website, on our retailers' websites, all of it to be search engine optimized so that our search results are timely and are relevant to the person actually doing the search. One of the things that have come and gone a bit in the internet advertising industry is pop-ups, and that is essentially those quick little things that'll pop up onto a person's screen as they're loading a web page or looking at different content, and the idea there is to grab that person's attention. Most people found them annoying, so you don't see them quite as much as you used to, but they do still exist, and there are different times and references that make sense to use those types of advertising products, but generally speaking, there are more effective ways of reaching your target audience.